Welcome back to the War Corgi News Network, your number one home for all news revolving around the current Star Wars Legion campaign, Battle for the Galaxy. I am Michael Cochran.
And I am Jim Border, subbing for Chris Peterson, who's answering for his crimes.
Numerous crimes.
Numerous crimes against the rebellion.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if Chris survives this.
We have concerns, Master Peterson.
As you should. So, Jim, new to the Star Wars Legion scene, but an old-time 40k player. He has picked up the game rather quickly. You've seen him on the War Corgi YouTube channel. You're going to see him on the Paint All the Minis channel soon. It's been a pleasure to have you and your son Jameson in our growing campaign.
It has been a pleasure to participate. It's good times.
Excellent. Excellent. So it has been a little while since our last campaign update. I can tell you that we have just finished campaign round 4, and it has been a disaster for the Empire. No doubt about it. The Rebs are now threatening the Imperial core of Coruscant. They have taken control of Ord Mantell right on our border and are poised to launch an attack straight into the Imperial core at the start of turn 5 as all shields on home planets have gone down. We are in dire, dire straits, and we are threatened with losing this campaign very quickly.
We have scrubbed villainy from Seleucami and Tordaria, brought peace and prosperity to Mandalore and Ord Mantell, and getting ready to set up a camp in Coruscant. Who would have thought?
Not me.
3 weeks ago.
Morale is low on the Imperial side. How is it on the Rebel side?
Oh, it's much better. 3 weeks, 4 months ago, there was discussion of loss.
3 or 4 months ago?
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Oh, 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was discussion of the Imperial is too powerful. We just can't do it.
Campaign round 4 turned it all around.
Yeah, in a glorious way.
We're going to talk more about it during the map segment, but
yeah, looking at the map, it's almost unbelievable.
Yes. Well, thankfully, the Imperials did have their revenge in the Stars of the Galaxy, as we played one game of Star Wars Armada in this last campaign round. It was an Imperial attack on the Rebel fleet. Due to scheduling circumstances, it was led by me. Relative novice to Star Wars Armada.
Huge upset. Huge upset. Ben, we're so sorry.
It was a nice victory for the Imperials. It was our first victory against the Rebel fleets since turn 2, I believe, where I beat Hot Dice Pete in an early game. Since then, we lost all of our games, and we brought it back with the only game of Armada in round 4, winning that one. So we do have that glimmer of hope still remaining.
We will snuff that as quickly as we can.
Well, good luck. You're going to have a lot more Armada fleets, it looks like, going into the next turn. So more Armada play to come, and it's going to be coming to the channel here soon, too.
Yep, but we have Ben. Ben will not be denied this turn.
We got me, and we got Admiral Mark.
Yes.
And that's really good at this point. So we'll have to see how that works out. But our play group here in St. Louis continues to expand. We've had 3 new members join the campaign since we last talked. So the Rebels have welcomed a couple new people.
Alec, which is awesome.
He's been doing pretty well for you, huh?
Well, you know, whenever you recruit from the game store,
yeah,
you expect good things,
yeah,
and you get them.
Yeah.
Alec has delivered gloriously.
Yeah.
We enjoy seeing his reports come in on Friday nights.
And just keep sending our commanders into the slaughter. It's been fun.
Yeah, it has. It's been one of the highlights of the campaign lately. And Ben, welcome him too, our Armada champion.
So Ben also plays Star Wars Legion. He collects clones though, so the way he's participating in the campaign is strictly through Armada at this point.
Yep. He will be back. Don't get cocky, Michael.
Believe me, I know I got lucky. On the Imperial side, we have welcomed Josh. Now, Josh is a longtime Patreon supporter of the War Corgi channel, and by long time, I mean I launched this in November. He's been here a little bit since then. But he was also a local player, and so we invited Josh to join our campaign. After a little coaxing, he has agreed to join. And he has fought his first campaign battle in this last round, in campaign round 4.
Fought it twice.
Yeah, he did very well.
He's a great guy.
Unfortunately, he did not win. He lost against you, right? You had your first victory in the campaign.
Yep. That was it.
That victory,
Thanks, Josh.
That victory equals the total amount of victories that
Chris
Hot Dice Pete
Peterson
has.
yeah.
So
yeah,
you're like the same.
Yeah, we're even.
Yeah.
Which
seems right to me.
Can you hear Chris screaming? If everybody listens real close, you can hear him screaming right now.
If you want to see Chris lose his last game, it was the Battle for Alderaan, which can be found on the Corgi YouTube channel.
Oh, it was brutal.
So we're happy to have Josh on the team.
Yes,
now,
we are.
We are saddened to announce that we are also losing 2 players just due to moves out of the area. We're going to miss Lieutenant Mark and Warrant Officer Troy. As I've mentioned in some other videos, Troy did gift us with a ton of new terrain that we've been featuring left and right on the channel. It is beautiful. Yep. And
his printer has been smoking the last couple months.
I'm poised to buy it, so we'll see how that goes. But we're gonna miss both those guys. Lieutenant Mark hasn't given me anything yet, but maybe soon. My Imperial Lieutenant
Mark.
He has been giving me some victories, including this last round.
Yeah, he has.
He's gonna go out with a bang.
Yeah, his dice have been pretty high.
Oh, easy there. His tactics have been amazing, and his dice have supported. All right, so those are the hellos and goodbyes, and that is the lead stories for tonight. So with that, why don't you join us over in the campaign corner for a little campaign talk. In the long series of very fierce battles, now on this front, now on that, fighting on 3 fronts at once, battles fought by 2 or 3 divisions against an equal or somewhat larger number of the rebels, and fought fiercely on some of the old grounds that so many of us know so well. In these battles, our losses in men have exceeded 300,000 killed, wounded, and missing. Nevertheless, our thankfulness at the escape of our army and so many men whose loved ones have passed through an agonizing week must not blind us to the fact that what has happened on Sulcami, Felucia, Toydaria, and Ord Mantell is a colossal military disaster. Even though large tracts of the galaxy and many old and famous planets have fallen or may fall into the grip of the rebellion and the odious apparatus of Republican rule, we shall not flag or fail. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight on Alderaan. We shall fight in the stars and low orbit. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our empire, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender, and even if, which I do not for a moment believe, this empire or a large part of it were subjugated and starving, then our empire beyond the stars, armed and guarded by the Imperial Navy, would carry on the struggle until, in the Emperor's good time, the New World, with all its power and might, steps forth to the rescue and liberation of the old. Now the campaign corner is normally where Chris Peterson and I get together and we talk about the rules of the campaign. But they've published in PDF, and those are available if you contact me on Facebook, or they're also available in the Discord. Either if you're on my Discord, if you're a Patreon supporter or a local player, or if you're in the Star Wars Legion Discord under the Homebrew, you can hit me up on Facebook, you can hit me up on the Discord, either channel, and I'll send you those PDFs. So we've talked through all these rules. What I want tonight, Jim, is kind of your perspective as a new Star Wars Legion player. How you feel about this campaign and what you like, what you don't like, and are you jonesing for more?
I'm going to be sad to see it go. I feel like, yeah, we're going to go into Coruscant and purge the villainy, and it's gonna be over. I'm gonna be sad to see it go, because I know we talked about there early on. There's discussion of it lasting a long time, and then we got into it, and the rebels, we kind of stunk it up there not long ago.
I think we outplayed you on the strategic side when it came to controlling the map. Now that's not surprising as I developed the campaign, and I didn't put
some insight.
I didn't put any tricks or anything in there. I just had an intuitive understanding of how this was going to work, and it paid off. So I think you're right. Even though on the battlefield you probably lost a little bit more than us, what happened was we boxed you out of some key planets.
Well, and we just felt there was discussion in the Discord of, the Imperial, the Imperial Army,
Mm-hmm.
the models, the rules
Mm-hmm.
were fundamentally more powerful.
Okay.
I
I was not privy to that, but that's interesting.
yeah. There was
You guys-
discussion. You guys were easy mode, and we were hard mode.
Okay, now Chris Peterson did mention to me one time that he thinks the Imperials operate very well with a single commander and maybe a bounty hunter, whereas the Rebels, to make effective lists, require multiple heroes in the same. And when you're playing 4 to 6 to 7 games on the campaign map, you can't have all
And
those
you have to
heroes
split
together.
them.
You have to split them.
Split them up.
So I think that is a legitimate concern. But now, after you turned it around in campaign turn 4, does that feeling still persist? Do you think the campaign is balanced, or is it inherently unbalanced because one side is playing on easy mode as the Imperials?
I feel that the Imperials are just general purpose a little stronger army than the Rebellion.
Okay.
Now I'm a new player, but there's discussion of that, and I see discussion of that on Facebook, and I forget, it wasn't that long ago somebody wrote an article that was passed around a whole lot that white defense dice are broken. It's I find that white defense dice. Man, I do feel like you have to have thick skin to play Rebels. It could be crushing for a new player if you're like rolling white defense die and just dying. I mean, I played 40k enough. I played orcs, so oh my god, I would just blown off the table.
I would argue there's a difference between a 6-up save and a 3-up save. But what you're talking about in Star Wars Legion is a 5-up save or a 4-up save.
Mhm.
You're talking about 16.3% difference. If you're saying the factions are inherently unbalanced because of 16.3% difference in defense dice, I'm going to say maybe not.
No, I'm just saying
16.6.
I'm just saying that is just a little piece of
Okay.
the landscape that it feels like Imperial is a little stronger.
Okay.
More range. More range 4, more range 5 stuff. But you're listening to me. What do I know?
Yeah, no, I mean, these are fair points, and I'm going to consider them. I would say the results tend to show otherwise, and I think certainly the results of national tournaments also show otherwise. There's been a bend towards Imperial at the very top, but mostly when you look at win-loss records, they're pretty close, especially when they play against each other. So it's been interesting. Operative Luke has come out since then. He has certainly, if there was an uneven playing field, maybe leveled it a little bit. But the campaign rules only allow you to use him in one of your games. So.
Yep. Another to the white defense dice. One other Friday night. Spur, Vader and Dewbacks. Imperial had a really good night. That was another Saturday morning where everybody was like, "Oh, this is broken."
Yes. The only place on the internet probably where people were discussing that dewbacks were broken.
Well, in the Rebel Operations Center on Discord.
That was the only place ever.
Well, it's the only one that I was participating in.
I mean, Jay Shalansky had a moment there that he thought dewbacks were really good. And I think look, as a Legion player, I like all the units, and I think they're all usable and good in their own way. But, man, you sound like a bunch of crybabies over in the Rebel Operations Center. I had no idea.
Oh, you don't hang out in there?
No, I do not. I have access, but I don't look. So.
Oh, we're gonna start tagging you. Well, yeah, we're gonna have to drag you in there.
Well, that's not. So let's talk a little bit. Let's transition a little bit. Let's talk about how it's impacted our community. And I think it's done a pretty good job of building our community,
Yep.
and keeping people interested and bringing in new people.
Yes, it has absolutely nailed that. If it does end with us marching into Coruscant, I'm gonna be bummed about that. I'm gonna miss it. I'm already asking you, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, you're already asking me that. I get that.
I'm not gonna be disappointed if we don't take Coruscant and this goes a little farther.
So I think this has to be your plan then. Hot Dice Pete attacks Coruscant.
Yeah, there's going to be discussion.
Bring it, Peterson. Bring it.
There was Seleucami, and then there's Coruscant. So, Chris, we love you, man.
I miss ya. Come back.
Oh, you didn't get quarantined on the boat, did you?
Yeah, let's hope not. So yeah, Chris is on a cruise with Rebel High Command. So yeah, I think it's done a good job. We have a bunch of new players, and even with our Patreons, there's still quite a few that are excited and participating in the campaign. They're always waiting to see what has happened and anxious to help out.
And definitely early on, the supporters playing the auxiliary missions.
They helped you out a ton.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was hysterical. If we could have just gotten Palpatine one more time.
I would have beaten you with something else.
It was awesome.
I'm pretty good with Pal.
Yeah. Well, we got Darth last time, right?
I just started to realize this past turn, talking to you, because Chris Peterson doesn't tell me as much information. You're just much more pliable. You get a couple of drinks in you and I get all the secrets. The Rebels are making moves just to troll me, apparently. To see the look on my face when Palpatine is captured. To see the look on my face when they attack two of our home planets.
Because it's funny. Mm-hmm. Yes. I think if you play back the video, whenever we were making plans, you will hear the rebellion discussing, if we take... What's next to Coruscant? What's the planet that...
Ord Mantell?
Ord Mantell?
Or Alderaan?
It's like, Ord Mantell, and watch this. Watch the look on Michael's face, and it totally paid off. There was a scowl, a grimace.
I can't say I didn't see it coming, but it always hurts when you see it on the board. When you see that rebel ship sliding into Ord Mantell, which I had successfully defended the previous turn, and you just know eventually their lines are going to crumble, and they crumbled in round 4. So.
Yeah. But that was a good moment. We enjoyed it.
I'm getting a sign that we need to cut the commercial break. We have another video from our friends over at Team Relentless.
Yes, I've heard about this.
You heard about it. You should have seen it. They're on our previous 2 episodes. It's a great channel. If you haven't checked them out, I'm going to give you a reason why as we cut the commercial break now.
He once rolled a pool of all blanks just to see how it feels. When playing Recover the Supplies, he scores all 5 boxes. He rolls his dice overhand. He is the most interesting man in Legion.
I don't always watch YouTube, but when I do, I prefer the playbook. Roll well, my friends.
Welcome back to our map campaign board, where we have fast-forwarded in time to the start of campaign round 4. So the end of campaign round 3 was fairly successful for both sides, but it ended with the Empire continuing to occupy all the planets in its home region. Strong presence out here in the galactic east, still controlling the key nodes of Hoth and Endor, denying the rebels their use of Tauntauns, and Endor allowing us to do a number of things. And then in the west, we have a pretty strong foothold as well, controlling 3 out of 4 planets in this region. Most importantly, we are pressing on Mon Calamari. Shields will be down at the start of turn 5, so Seleucami is going to be our jumping off point into Mon Calamari once we get there, and still holding Toydaria, which is disrupting the rebel plans to hold this entire region. Jim, what were the rebels looking at the end of round 3?
We were looking at, we did not control all of any territory. And we had lost a planet right next to home. At the end of this round, not good. Nothing good anywhere. While you had, all 4 of 2 territories and looked to be bringing that one. So, top of the list, the first thing we have to do, there's no choice, Seleucami.
Yep.
There's no way around it. That has to change. It would be awesome if Tordaria changed. And then after that, well, we have Mandalore here. Maybe it would be nice to step into Ord Mantell.
You want to get a foothold next to our capital because you don't want us attacking your capital. That would end the campaign if we win that without having a chance to take our capital.
Mm-hmm.
So rebel priorities are pushing us out of Seleucami and trying to gain a foothold here. Our priority was for sure to maintain our foothold next to Mon Calamari as a launching point for the next turn. And best as possible, if we could defend in our home region to protect Coruscant, that would be great. Now, as far as resources were concerned, since we did control one region at the time, at the start, we had a Super Star Destroyer, we had an Interdictor for our home region, we had 2 Star Destroyers, a 3rd Star Destroyer, and then our little transport ship. The Rebels had their flagship, Mon Calamari Cruiser, 2 Hammerhead ships, their transport. And the U-Wing. The U-Wing was actually for your patron mission, which was resupply. So you can throw him on Mon Calamari. And what that did is that gave you a bonus of, took 10 off of your bid for all around 4.
Which was a beautiful thing.
It was a beautiful thing. At that point, the Rebels also had in their back pocket, they had won a fleet victory in Armada, so they could cancel one of our attacks. So that was pretty good. So the Rebels had the first turn because they have the initiative since they have fewer planets. Where did you guys decide to go first?
Seleucami.
Yes, indeed you did. Now, we had no way to stop that, so you're going to go ahead and pick up, I believe you guys...
I do not remember who we...
Go ahead and use any one because you used all your ships on the attack this turn.
Yes.
And declared an attack in Seleucami.
Yes.
At this point, we used our transport to go to Maigito in order to solidify our control of that region down there. That was our first. And so it went back to you.
Toydaria.
And they attacked from Nel Hutta into Tordaria, try to expunge Imperial control in the Galactic North. We countered with the use of an Armada ship to start a fleet battle to try to interdict a Rebel fleet next turn. So that was back on the Rebels.
Alderaan.
And this was a concern for us. We expected it. You were trying to get near the planet of Coruscant, and that was your first attack there. We countered with an attack into Kashyyyk from Alderaan in order to try to provide support for our units in Tordaria and Seleucami.
And we pushed one more into Ord Mantell.
At that point, I think I had actually one more cruiser left.
Oh,
we had
okay.
put it into Mandalore, and you guys used your interdict action to stop that.
To block that.
Mm-hmm. So I only had my capital ship left, my flagship. I saved this to the end. We did, knowing that Felucia was our most important target. And interdict does not work on the flagships, so we figured we had 2 chances to win here and maintain a foothold next to Mount Calamari. We liked our chances there. Now let's go over what played out in order. So your first attack was at Seleucami. It was Jason 2 toes, if I'm not mistaken.
Undisclosed number of toes. We no longer call him 2 toes.
Okay, I think it was against Darth Jameson.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
And what do we have? We have a Rebel victory in
We
Seleucami.
We did.
Let's go ahead and switch those tokens there.
Took it back.
Next up,
Which was a good feeling.
we were in Tordaria. And not to say Tordaria didn't matter, but we had 2 newer players fighting out in Tordaria over 2 nights.
And here, how did that work?
You beat local member of our group and War Corgi patron, Josh. And what was a very exciting game. And so
The second time.
now all of a sudden, the Imperials have no foothold next to you, but we still have a game to play over here in Felucia. So after Toydaria, it was time to play Armada. And because of some illnesses and some conflicts of schedule, I actually jumped in there as the Imperial Fleet Commander, beating Ben, who is also a new player to the campaign.
Yep.
Very exciting battle. I brought an ISD and a Victory Star Destroyer and a bunch of fleets, and it was a very exciting game.
It was a big upset.
It was a big upset. I am new to Armada. He is not. He is normally an Imperial player, but he's playing Rebels for the campaign, and I managed to steal a victory there. So that was our win there. So next up was you guys in Alderaan. Alderaan was actually played on the channel against Hot Dice Pete, Chris Peterson, versus me. If you haven't seen that episode on the channel, make sure you check it out, because it is an Imperial victory. We hold Alderaan and drive the Rebels back. It was a very good game. Spoilers right there. And then we go to Kashyyyk. Do you remember much about Kashyyyk? I think it was Lieutenant Mark of the Stormtrooper Corps.
And Gary?
And Gary. And the Imperials ended up stealing a victory there. So, part of our plan was working.
Mark has had some good games.
He has. Now he is leaving us, unfortunately. And the Rebels all celebrate that. Me, I'm concerned we're losing a friend. But you guys have your victories.
Well, priorities.
And there we go.
Corgi's friend, Rebel victories.
All right, so next we had Ord Mantell. This was the Rebels' last chance to gain a foothold next to Coruscant to launch an attack next round.
And let's go ahead. Show them what happened.
It was a Rebel victory.
Opening
up an attack lane in the Coruscant. We can't stop it now, folks. And the last one was in Felucia. We really needed a victory here. We did not get it. The Imperials were defeated. And so when we end up the turn, I'll talk about the Imperials and you can talk about the Rebels. Now the good news is we still hold the Imperial core worlds here in the center. And so that's going to give us some resources. But we have lost control of every other single region that we had. We've lost control in the west. We've lost control in the east. We still have Sullust and Kashyyyk, but we have lost our footholds next to Mon Calamari, and we have lost the control of the region up here in the north. We've given control of the region of the north to the Rebels. So, how are the Rebels feeling right now?
That was a nice swing. And to end the turn with a 3-0 night at the game store was good for morale.
It was.
We ended the day feeling pretty good. And now it is we hold for, which before we held 4-0. And we are prepared to step into Coruscant.
Turn 5 could be the last turn. If the Rebels are able to attack Coruscant and we do not defend it, we can't win and the Rebels will rule the galaxy.
Yes,
so,
as it should be.
Make sure you stay tuned as we come back on our next episode, but before then, we're going to close out. All right, that's going to be it for tonight's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. That's going to be it. So make sure you continue to check back with the channel. We'll continue to put the actual campaign games, maybe even the Battle for Coruscant, on the channel as we record them. And hope you've enjoyed those. But that's it for tonight, so I'm going to say goodbye. This is Michael Cochran.
This is Jim Border, in for Hot Dice Chris, who may or may not be back next week.
Good night.
Good night.